Hi Gemini. It's been a pretty long time since I've uploaded, but I'm finished with chemotherapy. It was my third battle, so I had 3 treatments in like 10 years, and it's just been 3 rounds, I should say. So I've been doing it for this time for about 7 months, I think it was. About 6, 7 months. So if you see me always looking this way, it's just butterflies, birds, you name it. Butterflies have been playing up a lot. So I posted on my Instagram at Hazel's House 8 what fell out during meditation when I was meditating on your sign. And you had the King of Wands, the Four of Swords, and the King of Pentacles. The King of Wands being very animated, wearing like, here's the Emperor, wearing the cap of maintenance under the crown, being conscious of your thinking. Like, I felt good about it because the Four of Swords, I feel like you have worked really well with this Pisces full moon. There's the Knight of Pentacles. I think that's all that flipped. So using your mind and your heart, I believed, because with that King of Wands, it's like that Lion's on the throne. And the Emperor just fell out too with the Knight of Pentacles. So it's like you're doing. It felt like this peace and calm all over while meditating on your sign. It's like I don't know, like I feel like if you're a Gemini rising, like it's really like just feeling like a badass. Just plain and simple. So this could play out for wherever Gemini is in your chart. So with the King of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, when I flipped it over to look after what had fell out, and I usually let about 2 or 3 cards fall out, sometimes 4 even. There's that moon. But being at the bottom of the deck when I looked at it, I felt that 12th house, Pisces, Pisces, the ruler of the 12th house, it's all about the subconscious. And it's like, I think you see, like you've asked, like, what thoughts have I been harvesting? Like, what have I been telling myself? Because there's definitely a innocence and a childlike feeling to this, which I feel like Gemini does very well with. So let's see, let's let some more fall out for you. I'm glad to be back, that's for sure. It feels good. It feels right. 7 of Swords, 2 of Swords, and the 7 of Pentacles, and they all 3 fell out at the same time. Sorry, I'll show them to you. They all flipped up, like landed perfectly on my right hand. So. Let's see, I'm going to at least let one more fall out, and then I'll look at the bottom of the deck, and I'll always point the camera down. So, I feel like in the past that, that's another thing this Pisces full moon's all about, is past lives, being that 12th house energy. And plus with Saturn and Capricorn right with Pluto, it's like a beautiful transformation with all the things that have died out. And I think you are getting a lot of death-like readings like previously from me, and I apologize. It's it's what the cards were doing. Strength. And at the bottom of the deck, the World card, very gorgeous, good layout here, and I felt that way during the meditation. So with all that, like, I think you do very well with yourself with that 4 swords falling out. And like I said, if you check that, the whole pictures are on Instagram. So, Hazel's House 8, I'm going to point the camera down, Gemini, and I will be right back. Gemini, I sat with your cards for a few minutes, and this is like gorgeous. What came with the Emperor that fell out first. He is a crowned monarch. As soon as I started the video, if you remember, I was talking about butterflies. Because one flew by and I noticed it. So notice his scepter is pierced through the ram at the bottom. The childlike feeling, like in the dreamy state, is responding well with all this opposing feminine energy of Virgo, opposing Pisces, where the moon is, seeking to remove the veil, like the veil of Isis. Yet the figure remains seated, using your brain, seeing that both personalities of the feminine and the male energy, the conscious and the subconscious, are full of strange experience. That's why the 12th house of Pisces can be foggy. Because the Knight of Pentacles falls out the normal and the external plane. So where's Uranus in your chart, which is in Taurus right now? It's slow moving, just like this Knight. And then, of course, the Moon card falls out because you've went deep. And this True Note is in Cancer, which is ruled by the Moon. But in water, like that Pisces full moon, Pisces is closer to the Moon in Cancer than Cancer, because it holds on to the whole ocean at night under the moon, while the crab dances on the beach under it. It's not as deep. It doesn't change as much, but it's very back and forth, like the tides. And it's in and out. The path is unknown. It's like a reflection of the unknown mystery that is in parts of us, like parts of the ocean that we haven't discovered. The moon is peace and stillness. I think that's why that Four of Swords came out during meditation. So these two sevens came out together. The Seven of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Swords, I think this can sometimes get annoying. The subconscious, like foggy, weird 12th house energy for Gemini at times, coming from the watery emotions back to land with the Earth of Virgo, and then getting back to yourself by picking up some swords. So even if plans fail with Seven of Pentacles, you still have your heart in it. You've planted wonderful seeds. Like, notice her, like, cutting open the tree and getting the sap. Like, you've went inside. It might got sappy too. Because it's, even if plans fail, it's still going to work out. Even if it's nasty and gross, and like, notice the blood instead of sap, which I think is just so dark and gorgeous. And you had a lot of death readings, like I'd said. Like, it was a lot about death and ego and, you know, even abuse. Like, maybe with just your subconscious, maybe that's what you were doing. Like, the last one I think I read for you guys, it was very uncomfortable. Like, I didn't feel good reading the cards that way, but I just kept hearing it must be said. So, sorry about that. But these two sevens go with this moon, because there's, in this card, there's like more light. Like, there's like a reflection of the moon around the moon itself. And in the Rider-Waite deck, there's 16 chief and 16 secondary rays coming out. And this one looks like a portal. But in numerology, 16 is 7. It's just added together. And you had 2 of them come out right after that. But I just think that goes together so well with that moon card coming out right after. Like, showing that you see both sides. Like the Two of Swords. Ready to harvest with Venus and Mercury moving to Libra. I think it just moved in there yesterday. Having the Two of Swords energy. A fellow air sign. Feeling that tenderness that comes with loving all sides of yourself. The black, the white, the good, the ugly. Notice the colors of the figure. They're like black and white, like the subconscious. A lot of them are standing on the moon, if you notice. It's just like this gray foundation. And then there's that black and white also in the Emperor, the checkered floor. Then the Strength card came out. It's like you've already subdued the lion. And if you haven't, you probably will find your strength very soon, communicating well with self. You've been restored because the World card at the bottom of the deck. The state of the soul and the consciousness of divine vision, reflected from self-knowing spirit. It's seeing parts of yourself like a past life that you recognize what you didn't do for yourself. Like you've done very well letting go. And I feel very quick, witty, to the point. And I think you've done that yourself. Let's see what else we can pull. I'm going to light a little sage in a second, I think. Let's see, what do you want me to pull from, Gemini? I think you like this Goddess Oracle deck. Someone said something. A Gemini said that they really enjoyed it as soon as I get it out of the box. I try to shuffle on camera with this, but the way I'm sitting so I can show you guys a good picture of your cards. So, what does Gemini need to see in the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck under this Pisces full moon and depending on where you're at, it just moved into Aries. Oh, I'm sorry. So it's just been that back and forth. That's what it's all about, is seeing both sides, seeing all sides of self for every single zodiac under this Pisces moon. That's what it really is all about. Purification. It's time for a cleansing, detoxification of your body and mind. Yeah, so and I think that's right here with whether the plans fail or not. I think you can find your strength in it. You can subdue all that chatter that the world sometimes brings to all of us, no matter what zodiac sign we are. So this is pronounced Coventina, and it's purification. And in between these, I sit and meditate again and look at all the cards. Like if I sat here and did this without pausing it and pointing the camera down, you guys would wonder if the camera froze and things like that. I take my time and really go through all of them. So, but the message from Coventina. Sorry about my words a little bit. Chemo does that. It messes with how, if I want my hand to pick something up, it takes a minute to register because chemo kind of gets those cells too. It destroys good and bad cells. If you're not aware of that kind of stuff, just letting you know. So I write everything down in between. That way I don't have to sit and stumble as much anyway. Especially with Gemini. It's a very talkative sign. I love that you guys can do that. The Wonder Girl, I believe, is a Gemini. And she can just flow. It's amazing. But anyway, so the message from Coventina. This message comes as a help and not as an affront or criticism. Your vessel has become clogged by overuse of harsh chemicals. And that could be what you're doing now because of that last reading I posted back a couple months ago. You could have been messing with a lot of chemicals, whether it's too much coffee, actual drugs, or drinking, or too much caffeine, sugar, whatever it may be. But you've been ignoring your body's many signals and screams for relief from steady ingestion and impurities. Perhaps you've also noticed a slump in your energy level. Well, that makes sense with that 4 of Swords and then the 7 of Swords here. You might have cut a little deep on some things of yourself. But I think you're bouncing back if you haven't already. But anyway, so now that you've heard this message, do not hesitate for even a moment to make new arrangements. You'll want to keep a sharp focus on the contents of your mind and speech as well, for the words you think and speak are the very diet that supports or thwarts you. Choose purity, and I promise you and I promise you a changed outlook for the better. Follow your intuition's guidance about making lifestyle changes. Stop abusing alcohol or drugs. Avoid processed foods such as sugar. I just said all this. So eat more, eat better. That could be that Uranus and Taurus for you. I really think that's important for someone, a certain, maybe one Gemini even, maybe 5, who knows. But it's like, this card can also be a validation that your current healthful path is working. So that's what the moon could tell me too, is that you switch paths. Because Coventina, she's a powerful Celtic goddess of the waters, including the oceans, lakes, streams, ponds, and rivers. Again, that Pisces moon. Coventina protects bodies of water and their inhabitants, and she's happy to give you a divine assignment related to environmentalism if you ask her. Wishing wells were made in her honor, and today we continue to practice of throwing coins into the water while making a wish. It's Coventina who grants these wishes, since our bodies are primarily made up of water. She's very involved with helping us purify our physical selves. She reminds us that purification also means keeping our thoughts and speech filled with positive words, with empower and strengthen our bodies and lives. I think that at first I was like, this doesn't really match with what the reading is, but now I see it, especially since it said this card can also be a validation that your current healthful path is working. And that's what this Pisces full moon is about that harvest. When in the past, when we were, we've already released, we released everything that was getting in our way of planting these seeds, and now we're seeing bloom in the seeds. And being the King of Pentacles coming out during meditation, I think that's where you are now. And that's so wonderful to hear, because seriously, that last reading, I remember it now, it was weird. So it was kind of creepy as far as, being so much involved with death or, negative or dark. So sorry about that. I'm glad this one was better. Gemini, thank you so much. Don't forget to check out Hazel's House 8 on Instagram. And check out what fell out during meditation. Take a good look at the pictures. It's a beautiful deck, the Deviant Moon deck. Please hit like, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can receive every time I upload. Feel free to comment. I'll talk to you soon, Gemini. Enjoy the Pisces full moon.